every source of data your company has, the SQL database running your app, the SaaS tools your teams live in, the files landing in storage, the APIs you call, somehow all of it has to get into Microsoft Fabric before you can analyze any of it. Data Factory is the part of Fabric that does exactly that. It moves and transforms data from anywhere into OneLake. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going all the way through it. The two core tools, the copy options, connectors, and gateways, orchestration and control flow, and the tricks that keep even huge loads fast and cheap. By the end, you'll know exactly which tool to reach for and how to wire them into a pipeline that runs itself. Let's dig in. To see why Data Factory matters, look at where your data actually lives, because it's never in one tidy place. Some of it sits in on-prem databases, locked away in your own data center behind a firewall with no public access. A lot of it lives in SaaS applications. You might have hundreds of them, and each one exposes its own API with its own quirks and its own way of paging for records. And the rest is files and endpoints in every format imaginable. CS versus JSON, Parquet, whatever a partner happens to drop in your storage account. None of that is analytics ready where it sits, and none of it will move itself. Before you can build a single report, you have to reach all of those sources, pull the data in, and do it fast and repeatably, not as a one-time heroic export, but on a schedule every single day, handling failures gracefully when a source is down. That unglamorous but essential job is exactly what Data Factory exists to solve. So here's the shape of Data Factory. At its core, it gives you two tools that work as a pair. Pipelines orchestrate data movement. They're the conductor that decides what runs, in what order, and what happens when something fails. Dataflows Gen2 transform data. They clean and reshape it using Power Query. Between them, they can reach over 200 connectors, so you can pull from almost any source you can name: a database, a SaaS app, a file share, a cloud bucket. And whatever you ingest lands in OneLake in open Delta format, ready for every other Fabric workload to use without a second copy. The mental model to hold on to is simple. Ingest first, then transform. You bring the raw data in, then you shape it into something clean. If you've ever used Azure Data Factory or the Synapse pipelines, this will feel familiar. Fabric's Data Factory is their evolution, rebuilt natively inside the platform and wired straight into OneLake. So there are no linked services to babysit and no separate storage to manage. Everything else in this video is a detail of how those two tools work and when to use each. Because pipelines and data flows look similar and both move data into Fabric, the first thing worth doing is making the choice crisp. This is worth pausing on. A pipeline orchestrates. Its job is control. It decides the order of steps. It handles branching and looping. It's what you attach a schedule or a trigger to, and it does bulk copy through the copy activity. What a pipeline does not do is transform data row by row. A data flow is the opposite. Its whole job is transformation. It uses Power Query with over 350 built-in transforms to clean and reshape data. It doesn't own control flow or scheduling on its own. A pipeline drives it. So the rule of thumb is reach for a pipeline when you need to move data and control how things run, and reach for a data flow when you need to clean and shape it. If you just need to get a big table from A to B on a schedule, that's a pipeline. If you need to fix data types, remove duplicates, and join two sources, that's a data flow. And here's the part people miss. You don't choose one forever. They're complementary. A pipeline can run a data flow as one of its steps. So a single orchestrated pipeline copies your data in, then calls a data flow to transform it, then moves on. Move with one, shape with the other. Let's zoom in on the most common task of all, copying data. Fabric gives you two ways to do it for two different situations. The first is the copy activity. It lives inside a pipeline as one step in a larger orchestrated flow. Trigger, copy data, then do the next thing. Reach for it when copying, is part of a bigger process with other steps around it. The second is the copy job. It's a guided, standalone experience that walks you through 3 questions. What's the source, what's the destination, and how often should it run? And then it just goes. Reach for it when you want straightforward movement without hand-building a whole pipeline. It's the fastest path from source to OneLake. Either way, you get the same power underneath. You can do a full load to bring everything across once, or an incremental load that moves only what changed since last time, using a watermark to remember where it left off. Both reach the same 200 plus connectors, and both map the schema and data types for you, so your source columns line up with the destination automatically instead of you writing mapping by hand. And the copy job even remembers your last watermark between runs. So, incremental just works. Simple or orchestrated, your call, and it all lands in OneLake. Once your data is in, you usually need to transform it, and that's the job of Dataflow Gen2. Think of it as Power Query, the same visual editor you already know from Excel and Power BI, but supercharged to run at fabric scale. Instead of writing transformation code, you point and click, and Dataflow Gen2 gives you over 350 built-in transforms. Remove nulls, change types, split columns, merge tables, group and aggregate, unpivot, and on and on. Each thing you do is recorded as an applied step. So the whole transformation is a readable, repeatable recipe. And under the hood, it's just Power Query's M language, which you can edit directly when you need to. Compared to the old Gen 1 data flows, Gen 2 adds a lot that matters in production. You choose an output destination for where the clean data lands, a lakehouse, a warehouse, wherever you point it. Fast copy gives you pipeline speed loads on big sources. Incremental refresh updates only the new rows. And it supports proper CCD with Git integration and deployment pipelines, so your transformations are versioned and promotable across workspaces. The headline is this: you get genuine, low-code transformation at big scale without ever writing or touching Spark. Now, none of this matters if Data Factory can't actually reach your data, and a lot of it isn't sitting conveniently in the cloud. 2 things solve that. The first is connectors, more than 200 of them, for databases like SQL Server, Oracle, and SAP, for SaaS apps like Salesforce, for file sources like SharePoint and FTP, and for cloud stores like Amazon S3 and Snowflake. If it holds data, there's very likely a connector, and it handles the authentication and paging for you. The second is the gateway, which is how Fabric reaches data behind a firewall. The on-prem data gateway is a lightweight agent you install inside your own network. It opens a secure, outbound-only tunnel, so the cloud can pull from private sources without you ever opening an inbound port or exposing that database to the internet. For private Azure networking, there's the Virtual Network Gateway, which is fully managed and keeps traffic on your private network. In both cases, credentials are encrypted and stay protected, and a single gateway can serve many connections in many workspaces. You don't install one per source. The result is that the cloud reaches on-prem safely, and no data gets left stranded behind the firewall just because it's not in Azure. So you can move data and transform it, but a real data platform needs to run on its own, reliably, without someone clicking a button every night. That's orchestration, and it rests on 3 ideas. Activities are the individual steps a pipeline runs: a copy, a data flow, a notebook, a stored procedure, a web call. Dependencies connect those steps. You can chain them to run on success, on failure, or on completion, so the pipeline reacts to what actually happens rather than blindly marching forward. And triggers decide when the whole thing starts, on a fixed schedule, on a tumbling window, or in response to an event. On top of that, you get real control flow building blocks that will feel familiar to any programmer. If condition branches your logic, for each loops over a set of items, like every table in a database, until and switch give you richer control. Retry policies make individual steps resilient to to a source that's momentarily flaky. And parameters let you reuse the exact same pipeline with different inputs. One pipeline, many tables, instead of copying it 50 times. You define the flow once, thoughtfully, and then you let it run unattended. Let's make that concrete by walking one real pipeline end to end. It starts with a trigger, maybe a nightly schedule, maybe an event, that fires a copy data activity, which ingests the raw files from the source. Then, an if condition checks whether the copy actually succeeded. On the success path, a for each loops over each file that arrived, and a Dataflow transforms each one, with a retry policy attached, so a single transient failure doesn't kill the whole run. When that finishes, the cleaned result lands in OneLake, and the pipeline reports success. But if the copy fails, the pipeline branches the other way and sends an alert. So your team hears about it within minutes instead of discovering stale data the next morning when the dashboards are wrong. That's the whole point of orchestration. The happy path and the failure path are both designed in deliberately upfront. Parameterize this pipeline, and the same design handles 10 sources or 100. And because triggers can be event-based, this pipeline can fire the very moment a new file lands in storage. The data is processed seconds after it arrives, and no human ever has to click run. Here's a question that quietly decides whether your platform feels fast or painful. How quickly can it actually move the bytes? The naive way to copy data is row by row, read a row, write a row, repeat, and on a table with tens of millions of rows that approach crawls. Fast copy is the answer. It uses a parallel, pipeline-grade engine that moves bulk data in many streams at once. So instead of a thin trickle, you get a wide, fast pipe. The difference on a big source isn't a few percent. It's the difference between a load that finishes in minutes and one that runs for hours and eats your whole refresh window. And the best part is that fast copy isn't a separate product you have to wire up or license. It's built right into Dataflows Gen2, and the same bulk engine powers the copy activity. So the payoff is 2 for 1. Your loads finish in a fraction of the time. And because you're using compute far more efficiently, you burn fewer capacity units, the CS you're built on, to do the same work. Faster and cheaper at the same time, which is a rare combination. Fast copy makes a single load quick. Incremental refresh makes the whole pattern sustainable by refusing to reload data you already have. Think about a table that grows every day. If every run recopies the entire thing, each run gets slower and more expensive as the table grows, even though yesterday's data hasn't changed at all. You're paying again and again to move rows you already moved. Incremental refresh fixes that with a watermark, a marker that remembers the last point you loaded up to, usually a timestamp or an incrementing key. On the next run, Data Factory moves only the rows added or changed since that watermark, then advances the marker to the new high point. You can refresh by partition ranges, so you only ever touch recent partitions and leave the historical ones alone, and each run works in small delta windows instead of scanning the whole history. The result is that your refreshes stay fast and flat, even as your tables grow into the billions of rows. A 5-minute incremental instead of 5-hour full reload. And because you're moving far less data, every run costs a fraction of the capacity units. The rule is simple. Only move what changed. Let's put the whole picture together, because every piece we've covered fits into one clean flow. It starts at the source, say, an on-prem database reached through a connector and a data gateway. A copy activity ingests the raw data, exactly as it is, into OneLake. That's your bronze or raw layer. A Dataflow Gen2 then cleans and shapes it, fixing types, removing duplicates, joining reference data into a curated silver layer. The whole sequence is orchestrated by a pipeline running on a schedule or an event trigger, so it repeats reliably without anyone babysitting it, and incrementally, so it stays fast. And because the output is sitting in OneLake in open Delta format, every other Fabric workload can use it immediately with no extra copy and no export. Your Lakehouse and Spark notebooks read it. The warehouse queries it over T-SQL, and Power BI reads it live with Direct Lake. That's the shape of nearly every real Fabric solution you'll build. Ingest with copy, shape with Dataflows, orchestrate with a pipeline, all of it flowing into the OneLake that sits underneath everything. One last thing separates a demo from a real production system: how you operate it once it's running. Data Factory has a monitoring hub where every pipeline run shows up with its status, its duration, and its full history. So you can see at a glance that the nightly load succeeded in 2 minutes, the sales ingest ran in under a minute, and the SAP extract failed once, but was automatically retried and then passed. You can drill into any run to see which activity took the time or where it broke. You can set alerts, so the moment a run fails, your team gets a notification instead of finding out from an angry stakeholder whose report is empty. And you ship changes properly because pipelines and data flows support real CD. They integrate with Git, so every change to a pipeline is version controlled and reviewable. And they work with deployment pipelines, so you promote your work safely from a dev workspace to test, and then to prod, with the connection details swapped per environment. That means you can treat your data pipelines like the real software they are, reviewed, versioned, and released with confidence, instead of fragile jobs held together by hope and one person's memory. So that's Data Factory and Fabric, end-to-end. Two core tools: pipelines to orchestrate, Dataflows Gen2 to transform. Two ways to copy: the copy activity inside a pipeline and the guided copy job, each doing full or incremental loads. Over 200 connectors, plus on-prem and VNet gateways to reach anything, anywhere. Orchestration with triggers, branching, loops, and retries to make it all run on its own. Fast copy and incremental refresh to keep even huge loads fast and inexpensive. And monitoring plus CD to run the whole thing like production. Master Data Factory, and you can get any data into Fabric in the shape you want on the schedule you need, which is the foundation everything else is built on. Next up, we head into the Lakehouse and Spark, the complete data engineering guide, where we actually process all this data at scale. If this made Data Factory click, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.